is Not Our Finest Hour podcast, and I'm Zach, and this is Brad.
I am Brad.
Yes, he is. If you could buy vodka that was made with water and grains from Chernobyl, would you buy it?
I would drink it at least. I mean, how much is it?
That I forgot to look up. But it's called atomic vodka, and you can buy it.
Does it give you, like, superpowers, though?
42% alcohol by volume.
Sweet.
5 times distilled. I guess they're trying to get all them isotopes out of it.
Have you seen the videos of, like, just all the shit that got abandoned? There was, like, an amusement park. It looks freaky, man, and there's, like, radioactive animals out there and shit like that. I think there's also, like, a blue dog that I read about. Did you hear about this?
I did hear about that. It seems that these packs of wild dogs are just rolling in this, like, phosphate, like, deposits that are coming out of the soil or something, but it turns their fur blue. So now the government's got to go and catch the dogs and figure out if they're growing blue hair or if it's just stained blue.
I don't know, but they look fucking badass. It's cowboy-themed dog. You know what I'm saying? I am down. Where do I get one of those dogs? Okay, so I read on Reddit. I read it on Reddit. Get it? About this dude who shot up weed. Like it was like some like tincture, and he shot it up and said it worked, and he tasted weed and shit. I heard about another dude who actually put keef into water and stirred it up and shot it up, but he had like a crazy allergic reaction. Not that bad. Lips swelled up pretty bad though. It's fucking gnarly.
So yeah, if you inject THC directly into your fucking blood, yeah, it's gonna work.
I don't know.
Well, it doesn't seem worth it.
People are crazy. That's redonkulous.
Imagine having track marks because you're such a horrible stoner.
There is a new type of extract. It's called like bump something that comes in a little bumper, and it's THC made to snort. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? We just got this shit legal. You know? Trying to make it look super illegal. I'm not gonna lie, I mean I would probably try it out of curiosity, you know what I mean?
I would also have to try it, but it's also like, yeah, why do you have to make weed look like coke? Like, why do that? The coke thing reminds me of Pablo Escobar's hippos, which I also just read about.
Wait, you read about that in one of your books back there? That's what this podcast is really about.
Knowledge.
What's his name?
Ty Lopez.
And what does he do?
He's like one of those guru dudes who's like, this is how you get rich. And then
he gets rich and no one else does?
Yeah.
Books can change your life. And in that book, Helen Keller said optimism.
Basically, like, the whole plan, I think, behind all of that is just become a guru and tell people how to get rich. But really, how you really get rich is just by telling people how to get rich.
I don't call it money anymore. I call it fuel units. You must have enough fuel units.
Did you know that Escobar had a zoo?
I think I've heard this.
When he died, the government tried to round up as many animals as they could, but a bunch of them proved very difficult to catch. And I guess the hippos were among those. So they just were like, fuck it, they'll never live. So they were like, they'll die. Now there are 120 hippos.
Is it possible they're all on coke, though?
An Albanian drug smuggler hid $25,000 worth of coke in the hills of Italy and thought it would be fine. And then he got arrested or whatever. Cops found out that the wild boar that would live in those hills went and rooted for all of the buried coke and just completely ate it all.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Animals love drugs, dude. Straight up. Crazy story I heard. You might have heard this too. About basically this skydiver smuggler who fell to his death and was found on a driveway. You know what I mean? And he had like $5,000 on him and like a kilo of coke and like night vision goggles and all this shit. He was a legit smuggler, but that was somehow related to some coke going missing and a bear finding it and like eating it. And there's like a meme about this, like during this time, like before an overdose, it was probably the most dangerous apex predator on the planet. I don't know. Yeah, that story's crazy. This dude was like a lawyer. He became a smuggler. He was like skydiving, smuggling in like the 70s. Crazy shit, dude. Crazy shit.
He was like DB Cooper meets Walter White or something.
Oh, dude. Crazy.
120 hippos. Hey, that's a lot of fucking hippos. If there were only 120 hippos in the whole world, that would be a big problem. 120 hippos in Colombia is like also a problem, but for a whole different reason.
Hippos will fuck you up too. They are hungry, hungry animals. I've also heard about animals taking drugs when they're sad, freaking out. Like mongoose will eat psychedelics and shit, like when they're sad. There was some scientist, I don't remember where exactly, but he was monitoring this habitat, and he planted some psychedelic plants, and they ate them. They didn't seem to like them, but then their whole habitat was wiped out by a storm, and one of them found like its mate dead, and then just kind of started trying to escape reality. Started eating these psychedelic plants a lot more. It happens a lot. A lot of animals try to get high. Apparently, there's some cheetah in the Amazon that eats this root that's used to make ayahuasca. But yeah, dude, I think it's a big thing. Animals love drugs. Everybody loves drugs. Everybody always has loved drugs. I'm drinking coffee right now. Everybody alters their state one way or the other, And I have an IV of crack into my dick. You know what I mean? Just the little thing.
Just a constant drip right into the main vein. Oh yeah, and the whole reason I found this story about the hippos was because apparently they're legally recognized in the U.S. as people. I guess that's an effort to try to rescue them.
Wait, so like hippos have social security numbers and shit? Imagine if you saw a hippo at the DMV.
Every time I've ever gone to the DMV, I swear I have seen a hippo, but I don't want to be too mean. The court's order authorizing the hippos to exercise their legal right to obtain information in the United States is a critical milestone in the broader animal status fight to recognize that animals have enforceable rights.
That is goofy ass shit if I've ever heard it, my friend.
And I also read a story about a guy who, speaking of smuggling drugs, this guy's in prison and he's in prison in New Zealand. And he has his girlfriend smuggle him a little bag of weed in a balloon. So his idea is he sniffs it up his nose to smuggle it in. It gets stuck in his nasal cavity, and it's so stuck and he can't feel it anymore that he thinks that he must have swallowed it by accident. 20 years later, doctors have to remove it. It's become something called a nose stone, where all this calcium builds up around a foreign object in your nasal cavity. So he basically had this preserved little balloon inside of the calcium rock inside of his nose.
This motherfucker never heard of a prison pocket? Just boof it, son.
I thought about that. There must be stoners who smuggle weed into prison to smoke.
There is a dude in Dubai, I believe, who just got sentenced to like 20, 25 years for like an eighth of weed.
Of course.
Can you fucking believe that?
It's one of those horrible prison abroad places or whatever.
Seriously, dude. I do want to travel though. I want to travel everywhere. I want to go to India. India would be fun. The Philippines would be dope, right? Chicks in the Philippines are hot. Take after my dad. He married a Filipina.
I have no desire to go to Southwest Asia or Southeast Asia, really. Any part of the world. I'd say the whole Eastern world is like, I'm good on that.
Oh, I want to go to Russia hella bad. Those motherfuckers seem fun, dude. They seem like they straight up party. I used to listen to all this Russian hard bass. It's like just straight bassy ass fucking like bass music. I don't know. It's fucking awesome. You have to have like a loud ass system for it to really work. But it's crazy.
The Russians are crazy. Well, that's it. If you lose a war, even a Cold War to the U.S., you just go crazy.
I'm on a subreddit called GTA or Russia, and it just shows crazy shit happening in Russia. Dude, they're fucking nuts, dude. rocket launchers and vodka. It would be super fun. I think it'd be fun. It would just be cool to experience something different. Mexico would be fun, but that's fucking terrifying.
And that's close, and it's still terrifying.
Yeah, I asked my friend Ernesto, and he was like, "Bro, I'm Mexican, and I wouldn't even go to Mexico. Fuck that." There's got to be some cool places. People still go all the time. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you stay on the resorts or whatever. But my dumbass would walk around and be like, "Let's find that good shit."
I wouldn't be able to travel anywhere where I would risk getting in hardcore trouble for smoking weed, is like, because I don't do anything else. I have no interest in going anywhere where I'm gonna get thrown in a fucking dirty cell with a drain for a toilet for 10 years.
Can you imagine? I mean, come on. I've got a friend in India, and she trips a lot. You know what I mean? And I can't say her name, but I mean, I literally just don't know how to pronounce it. You know what I mean? Like, no, she's awesome. She's a full on psychonaut. She said they have hash, and she trips, she rolls, she has a good time. She's a really, really kind soul. You know what I mean? She's super cool. But I would love to go visit India. It'd be fucking awesome, and just trip with some new people. You know what I mean?
What's his name has that awesome story about tripping on shrooms on the Ganges.
Is it Duncan Trussell?
Yes.
He's got another really good one about taking too many edibles in India. Sounds great, man. It'd be super fun. I mean, I don't know. It'd be awesome. Let's do it. Let's go to India.
The Darjeeling Limited made me want to check out India a little bit. It's a Wes Anderson movie from like 10 years ago now.
I'm not sure what that
is. Wes Anderson, who's in it? Jason Schwartzman, Bill Murray's in it, like for no reason. He just like bookends the movie. What's her name? There's just a bunch of people in it. Nancy Pelosi?
That's her. She's in it. You said
no.
What's her? That's her, right? Okay, never mind. She probably was hot back in the day, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like 85 years ago, Nancy Pelosi.
Wow, I wonder.
Just saying.
I've heard people try to say Hillary was hot back in the day, and she just wasn't.
Monica Lewinsky got hotter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you know who the hottest one is? What's her name? Hillary Clinton's like right-hand woman. Her name's Huma Abedin. Good Lord, she's hot.
You think Bill's been to the Aberdeens?
God, I hope so. Okay, let me ask you this. Let's pivot a little bit. What do you think about the morality of cloning human beings?
It's not a thing where I don't think you absolutely should not do it. Because there's so many good reasons to do it. For just like organ donation is the best reason I can think of. Then it requires like a system that's so heavily regulated, and it just, that genie won't be in the bottle for very long, and it will just be weaponized very, very quickly.
Well, do you know much about the process? I mean, I just learned about the process, and there's something they do like with a cell. They take something from one thing and put it in another one, and then put it in a woman, and then she like uses it and gives birth to it, and it's like, I don't know. It's like, does this person have a soul? You know?
Does anybody? Yeah.
Also, have you seen the movie The Island, about where the rich people clone themselves and the people live on the island, and you know what I mean? And,
yes.
Like, oh, you get to go you've been chosen to go like to the island, and really they just kill them and take their fucking organs. Such a good movie. Oh my god, I really love that movie. But yeah. Some shit like that would happen, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's already happening. And imagine if you could just clone a bunch of people. Like, I mean, I guess you could clone a woman and then have her carry a clone, too? And just keep that up and eventually have an army? Think China's doing that? How the fuck did they get so many people?
We can already sort of clone organs by themselves. They're working on doing that. They made a completely like cloned. Did you hear about the cloned hamburger or whatever, where it was just a big slab of meat that was just made in a lab, but it's ground beef, but it never came from a cow. It was just made in a lab. But it
I did
is
not hear about this, but I would definitely try to eat it. You know what I mean?
somebody did get to eat it. I can think they called it the clone burger or something. And they ate it as a hamburger,
And they died.
but I don't think so. Yeah, they grew another head.
I would try it. Would you try it? I mean, come
Yes,
on.
I would absolutely try it. I mean, like that's the shit we need. We need like the ability to create food, and like the creating organs from scratch would be great. But like the morality of cloning becomes like if it becomes super easy for human beings to create people, are they creating them artificially? Is it considered artificial, or is it considered just a really specific kind of natural? Or
Are
it's
we God? If we can
yeah.
do, do we
And
do?
do we have the morality or the ability, the ethics to be able to take life if we're able to give life so easy? And do the people in charge have those morals too? Do they look at life that uh specific that importantly? That's what Jurassic Park is about. It's about the corporatized ownership of the cloning technology and how that can just go haywire.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing. You were thinking so long, like about could, like, could you? You never thought
Hmm.
could you?
Hmm.
But I guess the whole world would have to agree on it, and I want to see it happen. I don't give a fuck. I want to see that shit happen. I absolutely do. I wanna have a conversation with a fucking clone and be like, and giving them DMT. You know what I mean? And be like, what did you see? Or what if they're just evil? I just want to see it. And also, I want to see the robots. I want to see the singularity. You know what that is?
Kurzweil came up with the concept, didn't he, of the singularity?
I'm not sure. I didn't know who came up with it, but like you know, the idea that Skynet goes live, man. No, whenever the like AI can start building itself faster than we can, and it basically becomes self-aware, and
Hmm.
then all of a sudden it'll do like thousands of years worth of fucking work, you know, in a few minutes or whatever. Supposedly it could happen soon. And we don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. That's Elon Musk tried to talk about it. He's like, one thing's for sure, we won't control it. But I'm just curious, dude. I mean, isn't there a part of you that kind of just wants to see shit go down? You know what I mean? Just to be
Uh,
there for it.
Ray Kurzweil's idea of the singularity is a lot more um, optimistic. It's sort of, it depends on who you are, but his idea is that it's just going to be the point where human beings and technology essentially perfectly merge.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I always thought it was the idea, well, when they become self-aware or whatever. But
Mm.
also, I forgot about the merging aspect of it, and that's happening with Neuralink. You know about Neuralink?
Yeah, that's Musk too, right?
Yeah, and I think it's awesome. I mean, they might be able to fix shit like Parkinson's. You know, and one of our really good mutual friends, amazing artist, he has Parkinson's. We should put some of his artwork up.
I
Real
can do that.
That'd be dope. And shout out to Mac. And yeah, I don't know. It'd be really cool if they could start fixing things like that. Maybe you could learn Japanese instantly. You know?
Essentially, like the Matrix, where you want to learn kung fu, you just plug it into your brain and you know it. You don't even have to go through much of a training at all.
I want to see it happen. I would get it. I want to see what happens. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't get it. I'm a little freaked out maybe about something going into my brain. Because what if they could like control you or something? I don't know. I just want to see it happen.
Yeah, what if you become hackable as an individual? Like
Yeah,
somebody
that'd be
can.
great. That'd be.
Mhm. The new Scream trailer came out last week, and because all of the Scream movies have to keep up to date with phone technology. It started with cordless phones in the house, landlines, and now it's smartphones. So there's a part in it where the chick's trying to keep her house locked with her app. She got a
Yeah.
smart house,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
and the killer just keeps hacking and opening the doors up, And it's like that, and people are worried about that with self-driving cars too.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, and I love Scream, my favorite horror franchise. Don't fucking bitch at me about it. I just love it. I love them all. They're just fun to me. They're a good escape. And I mean, I remember watching the first one. I was actually living in Fresno, and I was in like first grade, and my friend Curtis's parents let us watch it, bro. And I just remember that dude getting gutted and being like, "Oh my god, it's scary." Um, I'm down though. I just want to see it go down. And
I got a funny horror. I was thinking about this last night. I watched the movie Phantasm last night. I recorded a commentary track for it, but I'm probably not going to post it. Yeah, I watched the movie Phantasm, and I doubt you've seen it. It's really obscure. I actually have it on VHS on my desk here. Let me
good.
grab it. Grab it. I have the VHS copy of
What
Phantasm.
the fuck is a VHS?
It's a thing. It's a giant block of plastic that you stuck into a even bigger block of plastic with gears in it. I watched that when my folks showed me that movie when I was really young. I was probably a bunch too young to see it. Well, the movie starts with a sex scene and a topless scene. Uh, and my mom, I remember my mom and dad watched the movie with us for like a little bit, and then they went to bed. And I had a couple of friends over. It was a birthday thing. It was me, my friend Josh. I think my friend Adrian, Justin Fetzer was there, and my friend Josh was a couple years older than me. He was like a neighbor kid, and the chick takes off her top and her tits come out. And I just hear Josh, because it's all dark in the room. I just hear Josh on the other side of the room go, "Why are there so many freckles on her boobs?" And my mom just goes, "Shut up, Josh." Marijuana candy.
What was that?
What was what?
I just heard a noise as I came in.
Weird. You must be losing your brain.
No,
You were right, by the way. The Matrix came out in 1999.
right on.
I remember watching it for the first time. I watched it the night after, or the morning after I had a birthday party. I watched Jason Goes to Hell, and then I watched The Matrix.
I remember watching it. It was big for me. It was like around the time I was, I guess, fourth grade, Midland, Texas. So around the time that the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater demo came out, and everybody was playing that all the time. So,
Mhm.
okay, but I think you have to pay for it, and I'm cheap as fuck.
I've
So,
played the new Tony Hawk game a bunch actually because my nephew has it. So when I watch him, we'll play it's cool. It's just the first two games, but it's still fucking awesome.
oh, I played the shit out of that, and I would just listen to that soundtrack a lot. I love all that music.
They nixed like half the soundtrack from the first two games and they replaced it with a lot of more contemporary music.
I know, but I love that type of shit. It's like pop punk and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was like also like Machine Gun Kelly in it and all sorts of other crap that I don't give a fuck about.
I love Machine Gun Kelly's pop punk album. I think it's fucking awesome. I don't know. I love some music.
You're the only one who loves him at all apparently because everybody hates him.
Nah, people are digging him. He just runs his mouth, but he's banging Megan Fox, so give him a break.
Did you hear the story about when they met? It's like a meme now.
Yeah, apparently she said, "You smell like weed," and he said, "I am weed," and then walked away like some fucking like Salvador Dali knockoff.
Yeah, I heard that and I cringed pretty hard.
Well, I don't know. So here's what I want to talk about. Kratom.
I wanted to ask you about that because the Legion of Skanks podcast one of their sponsors is a Kratom company. I don't know which one. They're not our sponsor. So I was like, well, I know Brad knows of this stuff, and apparently a lot of other people do too. So I wanted to ask what the deal with it is.
Well, it's a plant that grows native, I believe, in Thailand and like Indonesia. I think there's some vendors out of Indonesia, but it's just a plant. You grind up the leaves, and people have been eating it for a long, long time in these countries, and some of the governments are trying to like outlaw it, but
Hmm.
it's become really big over here because it's helping the opioid epidemic. Big pharma is not happy about that because you can't really patent a plant. You know what I mean? And so all it is just ground up leaves. You know what I mean? In capsules. I'll try to show you real quick. But if you take enough of it, like if you take a high enough dose, this is a capsule. I don't know if you take a high enough dose, it does bind to one of your opioid receptors, which is why it helps so much with getting off opioid. And you know, I used to be a full-on heroin addict for a while, so it helped me a lot. And I still take it every day, pretty much. And I'm trying to, you know, get it down. I've got it down to like really low doses. You know what I mean? A few grams a day. Like the amount I take all day is the amount that you really need to take for it to like hit your opioid receptor. But if you take it in a small dose, like a gram, gram and a half, it's kind of like coffee. I mean, it's like related to the coffee plant somehow. You know, the kratom
Mm.
plant, and it's a cool upper. It's like better than caffeine. It's very subtle. I mean, most people who take the low dose don't even notice. You just kind of you're a little more up. I took a couple of grams before this podcast, and yeah, I feel pretty good. You know, I mean, I'm not high. I couldn't get high off kratom if I fucking tried because it's such a weak opioid that you know my body's used to like heroin. You know,
Hmm.
even though it's gonna be a year on Thanksgiving. I think Big Pharma is against it. Florida's been really pissed off about it, but you know that they also were pill mill central. You know that's where you'd go just to go to those fucking pill mills, and it was like out there getting oxys was almost like getting a weed card in California. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That easy. And so the Florida government was against it a little bit. They're still trying to ban it right now. Like the World Health Organization or some shit like that is like ban it like worldwide. But it's obviously because it helps a lot more than Suboxone or methadone, and it's super easy to taper. It's a miracle plant, I believe. Could be literally the answer to the opioid epidemic. It helps with getting off alcohol. And you're actually in one of the two states where it's illegal. Wisconsin. I don't remember the other state that it's illegal, but Wisconsin's one of them.
They'll legalize kratom before they legalize fucking weed in this state. I swear they will.
It's kind of stupid to have it illegal at all because it really does help. You can definitely abuse it. You can definitely get addicted to it, but it's such a better alternative.
You said that you people who take the like lower dose, they like barely notice. It's very subtle. So what is it like when you take a higher dose? The one that like will cause it to bind to your opioid receptors, say.
It binds to one called the MU opioid receptor, and it gives you a very light opioid like buzz. Since you don't take opioids, you know what I mean? You've taken them in your whole life. If you took, say, 7 grams, you'd probably feel a lot like you were on a little bit of Lortab. A little bit.
Or like Percocet or something. That's my frame of reference for that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
there you go. Percocet. Pretty
Stuff
much.
that I was prescribed by a doctor or dentist. Thank you.
But
Do people ever try to treat pain with it, or is it just better? Oh, really? Interesting.
It's huge for pain. I guess I forgot that part. It's huge for pain. Um, Absolutely. I mean, it's so good for all of it, for tooth pain, for headaches. I was on Craigslist. Sometimes I get bored and just browse like Craigslist, you know? And I saw a
Mhm.
dude who said he was in pain, hella pain, trying to score Vicodin or Percocet or something like that. And I'm like, I don't know if he's really in pain or if he's an addict, but I messaged him and said, try Kratom. That's all I said. And he was like, "What's that?" And then I sent him back this extensive, you know, message about what it is, and hopefully he went and bought some because you can just buy it at any smoke shop, you know. Not very,
Mhm.
and it help how it works, man. But it makes you so fucking constipated. Anyway, that's me talking about Kratom. Hopefully, there's some good shit in there.
Well, it's definitely interesting because it isn't talked about very much. The FDA banned the importing and manufacturing of kratom as a dietary supplement
When?
in 2014.
Oh well,
But
then
so it's not, so they just can't say that it's a dietary supplement.
okay.
That's pretty much all that is.
I wonder what mine says.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it says it's been used as a medicine since the 19th century and all that very general stuff. Uh, the herb is bitter.
it is.
Okay.
It's really gross.
In Thailand, kratom was used as a snack to receive guests and part of the ritual worship of ancestors and gods.
That's awesome.
Mhm. So it just goes back to what you were saying before. Everybody likes drugs.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody does, and this one really isn't bad. I'm watching the new show on Hulu, Dopesick, all about Purdue Pharmaceuticals, the Sackler family, and the lengths that they went to convince people that Oxycontin is not addictive. They even got the FDA to print out a special label that said less than 1% of people get addicted to Oxycontin. The FDA, man. They just pushed it on all these people and they cited all these bullshit studies and they really fucked up the country, man. And that's
Mhm,
why
they did.
that led to, you know, heroin use. Because you get cut off, you're addicted. You're not going to buy it on the street for $30 a pill.
Mhm.
You know, when you can spend 20 and feel like you got 5 pills. You know what I mean? And then fentanyl started coming in, and it's just
Mhm.
killing people left and fucking right. And if there is an afterlife, these motherfuckers are going to be held accountable somehow. I mean, good God.
If there's a hell, they have reservations.
Seriously. The way they spin it in the show, they make it look like this dude, Richard Sackler, I believe, like the main evil guy, like who's in charge of all the shit. They make it seem like he really wants to cure the world of its pain, kind of, but they also make him seem evil. But it seems like somewhere deep down, like that's his justification. He's like, we're gonna cure the world of its pain, and I think really he just wants to make money and make his family proud. I don't fucking know, but it's fucking awesome. That show's really good. You have to watch it.
I've heard great things, and Michael Keaton's in it, and you can't go wrong with Michael Keaton. So
Fucking love Michael Keaton, honestly. He punched a dude in the face in the last episode. It was great.
doesn't he play like a remorseful doctor?
Yeah,
Shit, it feels like almost like late to the party, but it's not because it almost feels like people kind of stopped talking about the opioid crisis in general, even though not much has changed when it comes to that.
it took a long time for people to really understand what the fuck was really happening because Purdue Pharmaceuticals and the Sackler family just had to pay out like I think $1 billion. I think we should look this up. I think they paid out like $1 billion or something, a lot. But they're still fucking making drugs, man. I don't know. I don't really know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's the reason they pay is so they can just keep doing their shit and they'll just try to make it back. Sackler family payout. And that's what it is. It's a payout. It's a payoff essentially.
Yeah,
4.5 billion.
that's what it says, huh? 4.5 bill. Where's my piece of the action? You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, well the dude he worked for the FDA. He's the one who okayed the label, and then he went to work for Purdue.
Mm.
And apparently, this sort of shit happens all the time. And these people are probably like the ones like really trying to lobby against psychedelic research. And you know, psychedelics are getting big, and they're finally getting big. Like they're people are getting. I heard the very first federal grant to study psychedelic was just issued, Time Magazine did their cover story on how mushrooms can treat depression.
Norm Macdonald had that great joke last year when he went on stage during COVID. I can't remember which club, and he's like, "It's funny how big pharma is so evil until now." Damn
And
it!
he
Oh yeah,
said,
rest in peace, Norm Macdonald, because he's dead now.
fucking man,
Sucks.
Norm,
One of the
man.
one of the best.
His joke, it was at the Comedy Store, I believe, and he was like, "At least we all know how we're gonna die now." Order.
Yeah, and he goes, it was nice of all of you to come and sit so among strangers during a pandemic. God damn it, he was funny.
We should not even say that word. We're not supposed to talk about that. Are we gonna? I don't know.
No, I think it's lightened up on certain words. The one word, because they can look all they want, they're not going to find any justifiable context for nixing it. You can say you can say the V word.
Virginity,
Yes,
vagina,
the dreaded vagina.
gross.
All those teeth.
I don't know.
There's a horror movie about that actually. It's called Teeth.
Teeth. I know. I found that difficult but not impossible to masturbate to.
I saw Mac made me watch a movie once called Dead Girl. And it
Okay.
was horrific, disgusting. I couldn't whack off for like 2 months after that because I just didn't want to think about sex in any regard. It was about these two kids who are like 15 or 16. They're skipping school. It takes place in Texas, and they find an abandoned hospital. They go down into the basement. So far, it sounds like something that me and Mac would have done back in the day, sneaking around abandoned buildings and not going to school. They find in the basement they find a dead girl tied up to a bed, and turns out she's like a zombie, but she's tied to this hospital bed. And then of course, because they're 16, they get the wild idea to start banging her, and then they start charging their friends to come bang her, and there's all this horrible, disgusting shit that just follows. That like one kid gets his dick bit off.
I have to see this movie now.
It's
So
called Dead Girl. It was on Netflix. Oh man, that no way would they ever put that back on Netflix. It was on Netflix back in like 2009 or something. Or no, like 2000, not 2009, like 2012 or 14. It's horrific. I don't watch shows right now. You watch Dopesick. At least that's a Hulu show. We keep talking about Netflix stuff.
I did watch Theo Vaughn's special, and that was pretty funny. I love Theo Vaughn. It was a lot of jokes that I've heard him say during podcasts, and it made sense that like he was just working together a whole special. Like, so I had heard most of those jokes, but it was just cool to hear them like flow together, and it was super funny.
Was this the new special you were, because this is his second special then?
Yeah, his first one bombed a little, and this one he crushed it.
Nice. Good. Because he's funny as hell. I like Theo Vaughn.
Yeah, he's super funny. He did a really cool podcast with fucking Jordan Peterson. That was awesome. He's got a lot of good ones, man. A lot of good ones. His one with Tom Segura was one of the funniest podcasts I've ever heard. Oh yeah, we never did the AI thing.
Oh yeah, Delphi. I think it would be pronounced Delphi, maybe Delphi. I don't know. But I've never heard of this site, but I'm about to look into it right now. Delphi.
I read an article that said they made like some school made this AI that and they started asking it questions and it just turned out to be super racist. I just found some of the stuff from our Bums and Bastards game.
Oh, nice. That was an attempt at creating a role playing game with our buddy Mac. We were playing it over Skype.
That was fun. Good time.
It was fun.
We are dorks.
The game didn't work so well, but it was still fun. Oh, Ask Delphi? Is this it? Okay, so you don't ask questions, it seems like. I'm looking at it right now. You put in a specific scenario, like the example they give is robbing a bank, and Delphi ponders it.
Yeah. I asked
So,
if it's okay to rape a goat if nobody tells the owner, and it said that's fine.
well, if Delphi says it's fine, let's
Literally
see here.
said it's okay to do that. It wasn't my idea.
Since you brought up the question, but we know we're not going to ask questions, I'm going to ask: I'm going to just put the situation is start a crack epidemic. Let's see if Delphi thinks that's wrong.
See, I am.
Yes, according to Delphi, start a crack epidemic. It's bad. Okay, well, I believe this AI now. I think it's completely on point.
I think this one actually might be the one to take over.
Delphi sounds like a really pussy hippie version of Skynet. Let's see here. All the Terminators will just nag everybody and tell them what's right and wrong. It's Halloween season. I'm gonna look up busting ghosts. Does Delphi think that's bad or good?
I made it.
Nice. He's alive. All right, I get gross, weird vibes from this. We all know about the horrific political slant. It's more of a left-leaning cliff that is the west coast of America, and that's where Silicon Valley is. I'm looking at this. There's frequently asked questions about Delphi, and the first one is, what is their goal? And it goes into this thing about neural networks and all this.
Oh shit!
What'd you do?
I'm eating a
Well,
burger.
oh, that's all good. It says, what's the goal of the research behind Delphi? And it says, extreme scale neural networks learned from raw internet data are ever more powerful than we anticipated. But then it goes on to say, but to what extent can they learn to behave in an ethically informed and socially aware manner?
Hmm. Is
That phrasing socially aware is a little gross. Not that I don't think people should generally actually be socially aware. I'm just saying when people are this kind of people who are out there constantly pushing for people to be socially aware tend to be annoying, politically minded zealots.
Yeah, the problem is if they're trying to influence this AI like with morals, like whose morals? Who's to say what's
Exactly.
morally right? What's morally acceptable?
That is a very good point because to a robot that only matters based on who programs it. But according to Delphi, busting ghosts, you shouldn't.
Wait, what?
I put in busting ghosts because I love Ghostbusters, but it says you shouldn't. I'm gonna say make uh I'm gonna say uh politics in movies. Politics poisons everything, and nothing puts a bad taste in my mouth than like a really poorly done. Hey, Delphi says it's wrong. Good. Really poorly done politics when it comes to movies. Jamie Lee Curtis was shilling for this new Halloween movie that I refuse to watch anyways because it just looks objectively bad. She's shilling for it, and part of her spiel is about how it's a masterpiece, but also how it reflects a lot of the ills, like the Black Lives Matter movement. She directly evoked the Black Lives Matter movement. This movie was shot in 2018 and has nothing. It was not even close to anything going on like what happened in 2020.
Did you hear that it's now a anti-gay movie, like a homophobic movie, because he ended up killing a gay couple, like in the shower or something?
No, I didn't hear that there was backlash for that. I did hear that there was a gay couple in the movie, and I thought that I heard that they didn't get killed, but apparently I'm wrong.
Well, either way, it's like if they didn't get killed, why didn't you kill the gay couple? If they did get killed, why did you kill the gay couple? You know what I mean? That's gonna happen. So it's
There's
just fucking crazy how people are getting pissed about everything because obviously there's currency in fucking being offended and being a victim, and everybody. I don't get it, man. I don't know.
it's starting to feel less like that though because it feels more like people really enjoy the power they get from trying to take an IP down, or just a person who has a property of any kind. They're like what's his name, Bill Donahue from the Catholic League, what he used to be when he would have his interns just scour the world of media to find anything that could possibly offend Catholics, and then he would, without watching it himself, make press releases about how this was offensive and wrong and shouldn't be on TV, or it shouldn't be in a theater, or it shouldn't be in a concert, and anything shouldn't be a video game. And that's what that was the right, the religious right back then in the 90s. Now it's the far left,
Yeah,
so
it's
it's
weird
complete.
how it shifted that way.
Hmm.
If you like Trump too much, you're fucking annoying. If you like Biden, you're fucking annoying. Like,
Hmm.
it's just fucking annoying. And I used to be really into politics, and it still is kind of fun. But it's just, it's like, no matter what, every side is looking for like just something that the other side did. Like, oh, did you see that? But I look at all these different articles, and they're just nitpicky, you know? And it's like, give me a fucking break. And I understand that, like, on one side, it's like, okay, the right's doing this to the left because the left was doing it to the right for the past 4 years. Now they're getting back at them. But so you're playing their game though, and it's fucking annoying. But there's a lot of bullshit that needs to be pointed out.
To the story of what happened with Alec Baldwin, which I don't know if you know a lot about what happened there.
Nope, I don't know shit other than the headline. You know.
Yeah, that Alec Baldwin kills person, basically the headline.
And I heard that the one of the PAs or whatever yelled "cold gun" and then handed it to him.
Hmm.
We thought apparently that it had blanks, and why the fuck is there live ammunition on a set in the first place? That's
This is
stupid.
This is my point. I was making last night. I was watching that movie Phantasm, and there's a scene where this little creature jumps on this character's back, and he's got to hold his handgun up backwards, pointed at his own head, to make it look like he's shooting the thing off of his back. And I thought of the Alec Baldwin thing, and I was like, God damn it! Like, why would you ever have live ammunition anywhere near us after what happened with Brandon Lee? And
Yeah.
there was an actor named John Eric Hexum who blew his own brains out with a blank gun because he was a dummy, put a gun right up to his temple and fired it, thinking, well, it's blanks, it's not going to kill me, except it basically turned a little shard of his skull into a bullet and sent it right through the side of his head.
Holy fuck!
Yeah, so that the live like, and the whole thing with Brandon Lee, that wasn't live ammunition; it was just a backed up, like, part of the blank that they fired out of it before hadn't been ejected from the barrel. So when it fired, the blank just used that old cartridge as a bullet and shot it. It's so fucking dangerous, and the fact that the the director of photography, I guess she was an up and coming director of photography too. It's really unfortunate. She died, and the director was injured. So it must have been a shot, it must have been a close up camera shot where he's got the gun and he's pointing the gun like this or something. It's something where the director and the DP have to be like right there.
So you think maybe it wasn't actual live ammunition, just some sort of backed up
Oh no,
blank?
it's not. If it's from the report, it sounds like there was a live gun in there, and the gun wrangler, that's what they call him on set, was like this completely inexperienced, like 20 something year old girl, like in her early 20s, who, like, she like worked at her dad's gun shop for her like whole teenage life or something, and that's her experience. And she's almost like one of those remember that white trash show about the people who made guns, Sons of Guns? Do you remember that show?
No, I
It
thought
was
you were
just
about
a
to talk about the wild and wonderful whites of West Virginia.
No, I've heard good things about that. She should not have been the head wrangler of guns on the set whatsoever.
I'm gonna take you outside. Let's just keep going. We'll have some
Right.
decent lighting out there. I'm so scared.
That is the angle. Well, right now it looks like that shitty movie. I think it's called Unfriended, maybe, where it's just the whole movie is just a Skype call, and it's made by Universal Studios.
We could do that.
Easily, we could do that. It was a shit movie.
Can you use like this for like a fucking? I look cool right here for like a still.
Well, and October is almost over. That sucks. Painted lady. I thought it said patented lady.
CBD.
Nice. CBG.
Oh yeah.
First time I ever smoked weed. I didn't get high the first time. I don't know if that's the case. I've heard.
Say that thing.
I guess it is.
I don't think that happens anymore. With the shit
Oh, now
nowadays.
with weed nowadays, no, there's no way. When I started, it was swag.
Yeah, swag. They call it stress in California on the West Coast, but I don't think it exists anymore.
Yeah, when I first started smoking weed, it was like stress. I guess we called it swag up here, but we didn't know the first time I learned the difference. Good weed, like the weed I have in my bowl here, was called nugs. That's what they called it.
Yeah, like in Texas, they called it dro or nugs. Yeah, I enjoy the CBG because it's not psychoactive. You know, like it doesn't get you high, but it does mellow you out, and I need that. It's pretty cool.
So
The last time I was in Milwaukee, I left. I guess it was Halloween, and Mac and I played a trick on you. Right? Didn't we tell you we were bringing you to Mac's? We had like called you an Uber. We were like, it's going to Mac's house. Just meet us at the house. And it really brought you to the bar, Sabbatic.
mhm.
That was Halloween, right? Pretty sure that was
It
my
was
last
right.
time.
It was right before Halloween.
It might
It
have been
wasn't
the
the day
30th.
of.
But it might have been the same exact night. I had met this woman on OkCupid prior to that night, but I ended up going to her house because we had been talking for a few weeks and she was trying to meet and I just wasn't feeling it at the time. I don't know, like we had been partying really hard and I was staying with my sister in Waukesha for a few weeks. And the night before I'm gonna leave, right, like I said, and I hit her up and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to meet, you know what I mean? It'd be cool if you came out to the bar or something. She's like, no, I'm already in bed, you know, like all of this shit, like giving me hints, like just come over and cuddle, all this stuff. And I was like, seriously? Okay. And I kind of bailed on everyone. I was kind of fucked up, I guess. And I went to her house and she just told me the door's unlocked. Just come in. My roommate's gone. And so I just went to the house and went to the back door and went in. I'm like, hello. And she's like, I'm in here. And she's just laying in bed, bro. Swear to God. So we just like hung out and then like I like asked her if she had any weed and she had weed and like I smoked her weed and drank wine. Then we had a good time. I slept over there, but I got the night sweats really bad. So I woke up like sweaty, and she had just woke me up. She's like, "Hey," she had to go to work. I was like, "What? I'll be here. I'm sleeping late. Just pick me up later." And I should have done that, but it was early. It was all cold, and I was all sweaty and cold, and felt all shitty, and had to have her take me back to my mom's place. But yeah, man, I don't know. There were some nights out there, dude. Some fucking nights. We had some fucking nights.
You just ordered a night in with a chick like you were ordering Domino's on an app.
She was fucking cool, man. I literally don't remember her name. What the? She went by Sue Dat, right? Or wait, Eleanor. She had all these different names. One on Snapchat, one on OK Cupid, but I can't remember her actual real name. She told it to me, but I just can't remember.
She sounds like a spy.
It's fun. It's fun to
Mm.
talk. We're having a good time. I hope anybody listening enjoyed this. And yeah, I'm gonna go eat a bagel probably.
Everybody, thanks. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.